And now, you're tuned in to RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's RBLR Sports.
Welcome into RBLR Sports. My name is Musab, and I'm feeling fantastic, and there's no reason you shouldn't be either. What a dogfight till the last second. We'll dig deep into that, but ladies and gentlemen, he's returned. I am with the one and only Stefan. Stefan, how we doing tonight?
Doing good. We're doing good, Musab. That was, like you said, a dogfight. It was definitely a road win that we needed, and ready to dive deep into this because this was a humongous win.
For sure, for sure. Well, listeners, you could do us a favor real quick, and however you're listening to this, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, there's probably a follow button, a like button, or a subscribe button down there. And also, we are on social media platforms at RBLR Sports. All right. Well, right on time, ladies and gents. It's Tampa Bay o'clock. It's time for the fun. It's time to talk some Tampa Bay football. All right, week 12 is in the books, and wow, oh wow. It was a memorable one, Stefan. I mean, how do you feel?
I feel good. Honestly, that first quarter freaked me out a little bit, slow start. But you know what, Musab? This is what great teams do. We answered the bell. We got that road win. I thought it was a massive win versus a very hot football team coming into that game. They had just pounded on the Bills at home, so I'm always one of those people that been saying all year, who have we really beaten? Well, now the resume is starting to look pretty well, Musab, right? We beaten the Cowboys, which that one looks all right now because they've dropped a few, but we beat the Patriots. That one looks great now, and we took care of the Colts, who were a hot football team and one of the best running backs in football right now. So very impressive win.
Absolutely, I'm right there with you. I think what made Sunday such a test for the Bucs was the fact that they were playing one of like the hottest teams in the NFL right now. I mean, we're talking Jonathan Taylor. I mean, Wentz is looking good, and they also have Pittman and a bunch of other guys. So this was for me. It was back and forth. It was a roller coaster of emotions. There were times that we got hot. There were times that they got hot. And I think this what made this game so memorable was that it had everyone on the edge of their seat till till the end of the game, really, until Pierre Desir got that game sealing interception. So uh, I really enjoyed. I really did, and obviously, most importantly, we came out with the win. So that being said, speaking of wins, I'm real happy, and there's a lot of things to be happy about. I think we got a few things on our good list, and I want to start with. I mean, I would actually put him on the great list, and probably just him really, and that is Mr. Leonard Fournette with 4 touchdowns. Uh, how do we feel?
Feel great. I think that all in all, I mean, we gotta stop calling him playoff Lenny or Lombardi Lenny, right? This is just regular season Lenny. This is who he is, right? We advocated from day one, Musab, you and me, in the offseason that this should be RB1. And you know what? Something to think about besides the stats, Musab. Maybe he had some sort of a chip in his shoulder, right? All week it was the talk about how are the Bucs going to stop that Jonathan Taylor, and no talk about our running backs. And here came in Lenny and just put on a show.
For sure. You know what? What I really liked was it was kind of like we were utilizing the run game along with the passing game, which obviously we haven't been seeing too much or too often just because of our strengths and weaknesses and injuries and whatever. But that being said, I don't know if I was really expecting him to rack up that many touchdowns. Obviously, want to always see a good performance out of him, but I was very impressed and super pumped. I was hyped. And for all my fantasy owners, I'm sure you were more than hype. I'm sure you were ecstatic. I'm sure you were bouncing off the walls because oh yeah, he racked up a lot of points for y'all. But overall, the good thing that I like was it was throughout the whole game. It wasn't like he just got hot maybe here and there. It was throughout the whole game. What I like about him, he just keeps digging and digging. He gets every single yard he can. And my most memorable moment was I think it was his third touchdown. He was basically just about to run it in, and the DB was kind of just right in front of him. Could have, I guess, tried to tackle him or whatever, but I mean there was no point. It just looked really odd. Um, kind of interesting just to see the way his touchdowns were. They're kind of just nice and easy ones. Nothing like he had to dig deep on too much. minus probably one. But for me overall, that was definitely one of the big highlights of the game was seeing a performance like that from regular season Lombardi, Lenny, whatever you want to call him. He's got many names, and I think he earned it. On to the next one, which is Mr. Shaq Attack. Okay, 2 sacks. Especially when we were down 24-14, he came down with that clutch strip sack and then recovery. So, um, Stefan, I guess we're finally seeing what Shaq's kind of known for. I've been seeing this a lot more often than obviously earlier on in the regular season, and I guess I want to know overall thoughts. I mean, including Shaq, but just the rest of our team. I guess we're kind of warming up. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree there with you, Musab, right? I mean, this is the guy that we paid a lot of money to. This thing, and to your point, he's starting to become more and more consistent as we move forward. And the and the clear cut picture here about that play, Musab. I mean, that was a game changing play. It's not only is a sack. Well, he got the triple. I mean, he got the sack, the forced fumble, and the recovery. Not only that, right? I mean, that drive, if they score Musab, that game's blown wide open. I mean, then we would be down 17. The running game's out of the question. We got to pass it every single down. So it was a game changing play. And overall, I'm with you. I mean, that defensive line is starting to get closer and closer and closer, and it's starting to show on the stats too.
Amen to that. I mean, 8 tackles, 2 sacks. He was a beast out there. I think everyone was, and as you were saying, it was a momentum changing kind of scene, and there was a lot of those. And the way I kind of see it was that was what we really needed, especially when we're down like that, 24-14. They kind of came in that they got that last touchdown right before the half, and it always kind of puts you down a little bit, but also maybe it fires you up. So I guess that's what it did for our defense. And just speaking about overall defense, I mean, the pressure was there. We had 5 forced turnovers, which resulted in 24 points. So perhaps this seemed to have been, the key to this win. What do you think?
I agree with you. The overall pressure. And listen, Musa, the past 2 weeks, is it safe to say that our defense got the swagger back? I mean, we've seen Devin White. He was a little banged up this one, but in the Giants game, he was all over the field again before that, even though we lost. And I want to attribute this to maybe is it because Sean Murphy Bunting's back and we finally have at least a competent corner out there? We've been looking very good since he came back on the defense. And I know that, they still scored over 30 points, but 5 turnovers is nothing, you don't do that every week. So nonetheless, it was very impressive. And I'm with you, I think this is one of the key reasons we won this football game.
And we saw it throughout the whole game, especially in the beginning. I do want to highlight that. Unfortunately, I guess the offense wasn't there for our expectations. It was kind of slow, but the defense was looking real good. We contained them as much as we could, especially in the first quarter. That odd punt by Pinion kind of scared me a little bit, Stefan. I'm sure it scared a lot of people, and you're thinking, "Oof, this is not a good start at all." And hey, listen, we did the best we could. We contained them to 3 points. So I was really happy. And you're talking about Sean Murphy Bunting, but we saw some other guys kind of back and ready. Winfield, we're talking Mike Edwards, kind of coming in clutch here and there. So uh, I guess because some of our starters are back, some of our veterans are back. That we're looking hot on the defense. I guess maybe there's a few things we need to tweak on the offense, but then again, I mean, Mr. Regular Season, playoff season, Lombardi, Lenny also racked up 4 touchdowns. So they also put up a dogfight. I think maybe that's what it was. Listen, we had five forced turnovers, which resulted in 24 points, but they also got to us as well here and there. So, it wasn't like it was perfect, but definitely a key to this win. On to our next good thing is Stefan, he is back, and I was surprised with that rib injury. Gronk is back, Stefan. He was looking real hot. And I don't know. I want to, I want to know, Stefan. When you found out, okay, hey, Gronk's back, we're going against the Colts. This is probably going to be a test. What were your feelings like before the game, during the game, and then after the game? Just seeing that, hey, it turned out pretty well for him.
Well, I didn't really know what to expect because we saw him that, when he was hurt with his lower back early in the season, he tried to, kind of play that game. He didn't really look very good. I mean, my God, did he look good on Sunday. And that's a very good defense, Musab. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe is it attributed to one, he's great, and two, that they were focused on our two outside guys because, as you know, Mike and Godwin weren't really big time in this game, and Gronk just took care of business over the middle, which is typical because all the teams are playing us two shell, and the way to get out of that two shell, right, is use the middle with Gronk and run the football, which is exactly what we were able to do. So I was very impressed, and not only in the passing game, but he also blocks, and then now all of a sudden Lenny also goes for over 100 yards, or 100 yards on the dot. But I also attribute that to Gronk in the run game.
I'm right there with you, but I do also want to say that um, with all of our injuries and especially him coming back, my fear, especially going against the Colts, was that he might get banged up here and there. They might try to get to him like that, but he kept on fighting. And as you're saying, with the blocking and the catching, but also the experience. He brings a lot of experience to the table, so he already had that all checked. But now it's kind of just up to see, okay, well, how is he really going to be performing? And it's safe to say that he was looking real good out there, and I'm feeling very, very optimistic that, hey, okay, we got a nice tight end, someone who can come in real clutch when we really needed him to. This was a game that we really needed to win. It was a test game, and someone like Gronk, he came in clutch. I was really happy to see that. We're talking 7 passes for 123 yards. And a little fun fact, this is his 30th career 100-yard receiving game. So now he has the second most by a tight end in the NFL history with Tony Gonzalez. And well, that is going to lead me on to, I just wanted to just pinpoint a little bit on the defense because those are just my last points. Our offense was looking mad pretty just because of, playoff Lenny and Gronk and all of other guys popping out here and there and even like Scotty Miller. But, I do want to say that our overall defense, we got in the way of Jonathan Taylor. All right, maybe a little bit, I don't know, too much in the fourth quarter. He kind of got a little bit hot, but overall, we stopped him is because with other teams, Stefan, he's been very dominant, and that was my big fear. I think that was everyone's big fear. Was all eyes were on him to see, okay, well, what is he going to do to us? How is he going to take advantage of that? But our run defense has always been really good, so we took care of business. But I don't know. I guess what I want to know is, maybe in the fourth quarter, did you see, other people stepping up? Because I did. I saw, Mike Edwards and Pierre Desir. So maybe I just want to know maybe your last good thoughts about the defense, if you have any.
I mean, I want to point out the guy you just brought up a lot because I think he's flying under the radar, and it's someone that we should give a lot of love to, and that's Mike Edwards, right? I mean, he's not only been a ball hawk, he's been a game changer. Some interesting stats here for you, Musab. He leads the team in picks and pass breakups, 3 picks and 7 pass breakups, and that's despite playing the ninth most snaps on defense. So he's not even in the top 5 in snaps. So this dude just makes plays. I mean, he did that saving tackle to end the game there in the kickoff return, or maybe we have a different story. So just want to show him some love because he's been balling.
Absolutely. It was, from Leonard Fournette to Mike Edwards to Pierre Desir. That was a beautiful little trio of action from all three of those guys. But also, he came in really clutch when, I don't know if you remember, but he came in mad clutch when Levante David got that fumble. He was the one who kind of, got to the receiver. So definitely a shout out to him on that as well. Well, unfortunately, there are a few things I do want to pinpoint on the bad side with our Buccaneers or just the game with the Colts. And that's just the slow offense. I already brought it up, Stefan, but um, thanks to our defense because we did really solid. But I want to bring this up because in the past, our defense has been up and down for whatever reason, specifically the injuries. But what I want to know is, well, how costly can this be, Stefan, if we're going against a really good team? Just imagine our defense kind of perform like our offense did, just a little bit shabby, kind of like I would say C. All right, I would give it a C. Then it kind of scares me then because I'm thinking, well, they would probably rack up maybe 10 points then in the first quarter, then I don't know, maybe that could result in a whole change of pace and maybe that could lead to them winning the game. So I guess I want to know is, how costly is a slow start like that on our offense?
I think it's very Musab. I don't want to say we got lucky, but our defense did show up. And to your point, in that first quarter, we stopped them like 3 or 4 times, and our offense couldn't get any points on the board. And I don't know that they just looked like out of it, or I don't know what we have to do for them to, start with a little bit more energy and put some points on the board. We've tried a few, away games already to get the ball first. We did it in this one, but we did last time, and we couldn't score. Really frustrating because with all those weapons, I understand that the Colts are a good defense, but I mean, you tell me we can't put a single point on the board in the first quarter. I don't believe that. So to your point, it could be very costly. So listen, I'm still praying we can find a way to get that number one seed and play our way at home during the postseason.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And I mean, I only brought it up because, you said it yourself, Stefan. We have so many weapons. So I wasn't expecting our offense to kind of have that kind of start. Ideally, that's what I was thinking, especially in an important game like that. But it kind of leads me on to my next point, which was also I'm thinking, what was kind of going on in the second quarter? Yes, we did get some more points. Maybe towards the end of the first quarter, start of the second quarter, we were somewhat a little bit dominant. We got that touchdown, but for me, I thought the Colts owned that quarter. I really thought they did, especially towards the ending. And it kind of changed the whole pace, a little momentum changing kind of, play action. And I want to know, what was kind of going on in our first half? Our first half was a lot different than our second half. And why do you think that, Stefan?
I don't. I can't pinpoint something exactly, but where I would disagree. So I'm just going to sum it up like this, Musa. We haven't been able to play 4 quarters. All 4 quarters as a team yet. Because your point, the first quarter, our defense looks awesome. Our offense can't score. In the second quarter, our defense allowed 21 points. Then our offense responded with 14. So our defense didn't play super great in the second, but we were able to score. So, I think it's just a matter of finding a way, towards the end of the season as we get healthier now, to put all 4 quarters together. And I truly believe if we do, we're very hard to beat, especially at home. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for, really. I can't really pinpoint one thing, but I agree with you. There's some inconsistencies. It's like the offense doesn't wake up, but the defense does, and then the offense does, the defense doesn't. It's like we can't put it all together. But hey, all in all, we found our way to win a very, very good, beat a very good team in a hostile environment, and it's a great win.
Right. Well, if I'm trying to play good cop, I guess what you're trying to say is, these things are going to happen. But what I'm thinking is, well, if I'm trying to say, unfortunately, we don't play all 4 quarters, then I'm trying to say, okay, well, maybe we don't finish strong in the fourth quarter, but we did it. We performed pretty well in the fourth quarter, and now I'm thinking, are we the kind of team that is just gonna? It can be any quarter that we just look off, and maybe that's just part of the game. But also, I want to play a little hardball because we are the champs. We have so many weapons. We're a good team, Stefan. So that's why I want to be hard on them, and that's why
Agree.
it
I
just
agree.
makes me think. Well, yeah, it just makes me think. Well, I'm hoping. Um, if not all 4 perfect quarters or all 4, great quarters, at least we need to do a little bit better. And
No
it's just
doubt.
with the experience that we have. I'm just thinking, Stefan, how can we pick up on these little errors or these slow starts or these kind of random momentum changing moments to ensure that we don't let the other team get to us in the first half.
I agree with you. There's no doubt we got to be more consistent. That's definitely valid.
For sure. All right. Well, I guess the last maybe 2 things are a little more related to the offense. And first thing, I just wanted something to consider, I guess, which is our O line did well, but we were also dealing with kind of an injury, which was with Ali Marpet being out, and Mr. Nick Leverett had to hop in, and this is his first time, so don't want to be too hard on him, but this is kind of just telling you, hey. Um, I don't know. I want to bring this up because I want to ask you then, Stefan, how does this make you feel knowing that our backup O lineman may not always be ready to just step up to the plate and show out because Nick Leverett there he had 1 sack allowed and of the 8 pressures. that the Colts put on us, he was responsible for six of them. So, listen, I guess maybe he just had his rookie moment or whatever, but I just also want to bring it up because I'm asking you, Stefan, what do you think about our backups then? Because what if this happens, with two of our guys, or this happens during, the middle of a game where, one or two guys or maybe three guys, who knows, So do you think our backups can step up? And if not, then what's going to
Yeah,
happen?
I think he can. I thought he, I know the stats will probably say he didn't play his best, but I thought he was good enough. I mean, he got thrown into the fire, into a massive game on the road. We're not really winning by a lot or losing by a lot. So it's a close game. He didn't practice all week. First team reps. They're going silent count because of how crazy that building is going. So there's a lot of variables. So we'll see if he goes as the starter this week. There's a possibility of Marpet's back and he doesn't, but I think he was solid, right? I mean, he allowed that one sack and some pressures, but that's also very good defense from Musab. It's not like any middle of the road defense. It's a very very good defense. So I think we'll be fine. I mean, our corners have proven that our backups are good enough to take this for a little bit, but obviously would love to have Marpet back out there.
Most definitely. Obviously, want to wish him the best, and whenever he steps up, yeah. I mean, I'm right there with you. This was a good defense, so um, I mean, yeah. I mean, this is, these things may unfortunately, or yeah, unfortunately, pop up in the playoffs when we are going against good defenses. So just just hoping that we can always try to find the best way possible, and I think we made the best out of it, Stefan. I can agree with you. Maybe at first it was kind of my gut reaction was, oof, looking at the stat sheet, you're thinking, ooh, okay, maybe that's what kind of contributed to the slow start on offense. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know, but we'll see. Maybe, yeah, maybe he just needs more time, Stefan. But that is gonna lead to me to my last point, which is special teams. That was interesting, and the two things I guess we can all think of from the top of our head is probably the start and the finish, which is Pinion's punt and then almost giving up that late kick return. Stefan, what's going on with our special teams?
Well, what are we think? First of all, this is a podcast that we've shown a lot of love to Pinion, so we love Pinion, and he's been inconsistent a little bit. And why how is it possible? 14-yard punt. I mean, you gotta be kidding me, Musa. I mean, just the inconsistency here about this is a little bit annoying because a 14-yard punt, it could have cost us the game. Really, I mean, that's not. I mean, a high schooler punts it further than that. So we can't be having those. But to me, the most you know the most important moment was like, why did we kick that ball in bounds, Musab? I hope that wasn't a coaching. I just hope that he didn't reach or something because it was a coaching decision. It's not a good one. I mean, we last year we were one of the worst coverage units in NFL history, and we're in the bottom of the pile again this year in kickoff. So to me, just kick it out of bounds every time. I don't want to see anyone return against the Bucs. We're just not good at it. Bruce Arians is a great coach, but traditionally special teams haven't been great. So just kick it out of bounds, Musab. So I don't know if you saw it different than me, but I was freaking out when he even kicked it inbounds.
Yeah, I definitely had some different expectations, and I guess the thing that kind of got to me, especially watching the highlights again, you kind of see it again, which is, that first punt of his, as soon as he, kicks it, he even knew it was a bad one, and he kind of just puts his head down and walks away or something. He kind of just gives up or whatever. It just makes me think, well, hey, listen, if that's gonna happen, you got to make the best out of it, and you got to do something. Maybe you're needed. What if they go for a little like punt return or something, and you could have been there to stop them. So that's just something it was a little specific that I noticed, but not something ideal. But yeah, I mean, then again, overall. Um, he was aware the pressure was going to be there. This is not just some random team we're playing. This is a playoff contender. They got a real good defense. They're coming in at us real hot because we are the defending champs. So these are just some things to consider, while you're playing. But I don't know, Stefan. The more we kind of talk about these small little errors here and there and everywhere, and I know they have some happen more than others, and some happen just randomly. It just makes me think, well, I guess, these are just always going to happen, Stefan. but obviously some kind of just hurt more than others. And what was really going to hurt me was if Isaiah Rodgers got that late touchdown. That was scary, but Mike Edwards came in clutch. What do you think?
I agree. I mean that game saving tackle right there, and as we wrap up this the bad segment, so I did want to bring up the defensive linemen and linebackers and coverage. I want to get your opinion of that because we've been talking about it already for a few weeks, and we saw it again in that touchdown where it went through to the tight end. This got to stop, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, we've been seeing it throughout the whole season here and there, and I know you've been bringing it up over and over again. I don't know what was the last straw for you during this game, Stefan?
Was one of the listen? I love top bowls, and I love the creativity. But what is Anthony Nelson doing in coverage, Musab? I mean, with all the injuries, and I know he tries to get pretty with his blitzes and stuff to try to get to the quarterback fast enough, but we're not getting there. And then you see all these linemen in coverage, and in all honesty, it just looks kind of stupid. I mean, it looks embarrassing. I mean, what was Anthony Nelson in that play? It was fourth down, and they get the touchdown. Maybe if you don't blitz a lineman, you help the people in the back. Maybe it doesn't happen. I don't know. I don't like seeing Vita Vea or Sue, and he does it like these things happen like constantly. I would appreciate if this stopped for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm right there with you because, from the top of my head, I'm not thinking any of the tight ends or the Colts are a big threat to us. So the fact that, their tight ends were kind of able to shine here and there, it makes you think, well, we're obviously making some clear and obvious errors. And yeah, Stefan, the fact that it's kind of happening over and over again, it's a little bit concerning. So I'm right there with you. But that's at least all for me on the bad side. And I guess we can kind of just maybe dig deep a little bit more on the good side or temporarily, which is my favorite thing, and that is the RBLR moment. Stefan, what was something that you just really enjoyed seeing? It could be good, it could be bad, or it could just be something that just as a fan made you smile.
I gotta go with the Mike Edwards tackle to save the game because of course it was gonna be him. This guy every time there's a tip he catches it. Every time there's a weird play involved, he's making the tackle, saving the game, and it was just funny. I kind of laughed. First of all, I was really nervous when I saw the guy getting closer and closer, and then he tackled him, and I looked. I was like, "Oh, let me see who did the tackle." And of course, it was Mike Edwards. So it just brought a big smile to me because it's just crazy how this guy just keeps showing up.
I was super, super scared, and I was like, "Oh Lord, this is not happening." But thanks to Mike Edwards, they weren't able to score, and also thanks to Pierre Desir as well. But oh yeah, definitely a big, big moment. I would probably say it would be maybe one of my RBLR moments. But if I had to choose one, it was really nice seeing Rob Gronkowski coming back and doing a really good job. Maybe I'll be a little biased because after the performance he had during the Super Bowl, I was super, super hype. I was on the Gronk train like I am for the trash train. But just seeing, him coming back from an injury like that, I was a little concerned. It was a rib injury, so I'm thinking, oh, yikes, I hope he doesn't get banged up because he's a big guy. All eyes are on him because he is Gronk and he's good. So I think they knew, okay, well, hey, Gronk's back. We got to keep an eye on him. But he still took advantage of it. He kept on fighting and fighting. He broke some tackles. He showed out. He stepped up when we really needed him to. And he showed us that I don't think he's aging at all. He's looking real healthy now. And overall, yeah, seeing that, Stefan made me very, very optimistic about Rob Gronkowski's future this upcoming, these upcoming few games, or specifically for the rest of the season. Well, that's going to lead us to our next point, which is let's just go over some kind of just key injuries right now or what's going on with our team. First thing I want to start out with is update. Yeah, still Richard Sherman is out, calf strain. No, big news or big updates with that. But for right now, another update is that AB. No big update minus the fact that we're gonna have to push it back another 2 weeks for now. Now this is a little more heel related. And a few more now, kind of related towards this past game or this last week. Mike Edwards right now, no super specific details, but he's dealing with a bruised knee right now, obviously from that clutch last play. And still got to see what's going on with that. Obviously, hoping for the best. And the next thing is that Aaron Stinney is on the IR list. So that's the update right now for him. And for Jamel Dean, Bruce Arians has reported that this is more of a shoulder and this is going to be more pain related. It all comes down to just how much his pain tolerance is. And hey, listen, he was a full participant today, so that's good news. But what's a little bit of a mystery mark right now is our punt return, kick return game because Jalen Darden right now is on concussion protocol. So right now we're looking at people like Giovanni Bernard to take over that role. And Carlton Davis, we have been reported, should be ready to roll. He's looking good real right now, and nothing but kind of just optimistic vibes that he should be able to be playing this upcoming weekend. Next thing is for Devin White, Mr. or my Defensive Player of the Year candidate. He's gonna need to wait it out and see. Right now, he is a limited participant today in practice. So listen, it's we're recording on Wednesday, so we still have more time. And yeah, just like Carlton Davis, feeling very optimistic that hopefully he should be able to participate in this upcoming weekend's game. And the last thing right now is Ali Marpet. He's been dealing with an abdominal injury. Practice today, but is limited. Kind of 50-50 right now. A little bit more doubtful based on the reports we've been seeing recently, but you never know. Maybe he'll be able to suit up. So, Stefan, there's a lot going on right now with these injuries. Some are obviously a little bit more, better than others, and some. I mean, like Carlton Davis, he should be ready to roll. So I don't know if that should if he's even going to be out. But how do you feel about all these?
Well, the AB news is a little bit frustrating because we thought he'd be back by now, and then what was the point of not might as well put in IR, and we were able to elevate other people to play, but it is what it is. Edwards, I hope he plays. Been making big plays, and we know the concerns in the back end. But listen, if Carlton Davis plays, back at it with the corners, right? I mean, we got our two guys, and then we got Mike has been playing a lot. Mike Edwards has been playing a lot of nickel if he can play, and you got Cockrell and all these dudes who've been playing decently would become backups, which is great. We'd love to see Devin White play. He's one of the leaders of that defense, and really, really would love to see Marpet play. But again, I just hope all these we can get together before the playoffs, or for the next few weeks, because we got some big games coming up. This one we're gonna talk about is still divisional game, but after that you got Buffalo and the Saints. We would want to be as healthy as possible for those. At least none of them are season-ending, Musa, but it is concerning that we just keep racking injuries. Can someone in our secondary make a tackle without getting hurt? That would be very nice as well.
That would be nice indeed. And I'm right there with you. Some are obviously a little bit more frustrating than others. And I am feeling optimistic about some of these right now. So, yeah, definitely don't need to push it too much right now. Need to kind of, play our cards right, especially with our upcoming games against, like the Bills and the Saints and then, the playoffs, et cetera, et cetera. So, uh, I don't want to say it's overwhelming. I don't want to say it's underwhelming either. But for me, at least, I'm gonna say I think I need a little bit more time to to really state how I feel because obviously some of these we're aware about, but really want to make sure that Carlton Davis is ready and healthy and hoping for the best for people like Jalen Darden and Jamel Dean as well. But that being said, it is time for our Falcons preview. All right. The Bucs are 11-point favorites. All right, and kind of just maybe a little more injury, related stuff for them. They got four people out right now. I would probably say they're pretty important, and they're all defense. So definitely something to consider. They got Jonathan Bullard out, Deion Jones, who's a linebacker, Kendall Sheffield, who's questionable right now, and Steven Means, a linebacker who's on the IR list. So definitely just some things to consider, at least in regards to their defense against our offense. But Stefan, I want to know though, big threats or who are the few people in mind, or maybe one or two people in mind for you on the Falcons that we need to keep an eye out on?
So I would probably go. I would start with Patterson. I mean, this dude's having a great year. He's a threat in the running game and the receiving game, and Lord knows in the kicking game. So I hope they don't even kick it once to him. I know you got to punt it, and you can't really punt it every time. But I mean, I would try to punt it out of bounds as deep as you can. I wouldn't give this guy a single shot punting or returning kicks. Musab, this guy has become so talented that they have him now listed as their third safety for this game. But and then the other guy has been Kyle Pitts. He's been way more involved since we last played him. He's been very good, and a lot of their schemes now are schemed around him and Patterson. So I hope that our linebackers are ready to roll with him because he can definitely run. So it would be very good if Devin White could go this game, and this will test his coverage ability once again. But you also got Levante David to help. So but I think both of them present a big challenge for us. I mean, it's good that Carlton Davis will be back if he is, because that will definitely help.
Yeah, I agree with the Patterson remarks. I mean, I guess the guy can do a little bit of it all. Uh, so definitely want to keep an eye out on him for sure. But for me, I'm kind of thinking I don't know if we have too many big threats. The teams that we've played or we've both played. The opponent always does a lot better. When we play the Patriots and then when they play the Patriots, it was a completely different ball game. The way I see it, Stefan, is it's almost like if their run game is looking good, then usually their receiving game is not always the best. Maybe one guy might do solid, but then again, when the receiving game is good, then the run game ain't always the best. So I guess they find out that they need to take advantage of one thing. So my hope is that we contain them at least for the receivers. Eyes are more for me on Pitts and Gage. Um, and they've been kind of going back and forth with who's leading every single game. But uh, yeah, for me, Patterson is definitely one of the most important players to this offense, and he's found a lot of success just whenever he can. So he looked really healthy last weekend, so he definitely knows how to show out, and that's probably the big threat. Is I hope he doesn't take advantage of it. But hey, listen, we were able to stop Jonathan Taylor, so I don't see why we can't stop him either. And that's really all there is to me. It's they're gonna just focus on a few things. They're gonna have a lot of maybe weaknesses than strengths. Uh, it's not like we're just gonna run them over, but I really don't think that they have many threats to us. And I guess more importantly, their leader, Stefan. How do you feel about Matt Ryan? Because the way I kind of see it, these last few games he's had, it looks like he's kind of a bit on a downhill or he's looking off, and he hasn't been able to find too many opportunities, or maybe his receivers haven't been able to kind of cater to whatever he wants. But things aren't really looking good the way I see it with his connections, and I want to know. Do you think he's has any chance of looking real good against us?
I would say anyone has a good chance of looking good against us. We've seen what happens sometimes when we don't show up. We get the Heinekes of the world, and you get the Simeons of the world showing up. But I think our defense has hit a stride, so I think we'll be fine. But to me, when it comes to Matt Ryan, to me, he's just the definition of solid. He's not great, he's not bad, he's just solid. Um, Musab, how do I put this? I guess he's a more consistent version of Kirk Cousins. That's kind of like the best way I could put it. No, he's not doesn't present the biggest threat, but also if you're not ready, he'll light you up. So anyone can. So as long as our defense, cares for him and we're healthy with Carlton and them back, all right.
I'm right there with you. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I kind of just said it as well. Is yeah, he's not like any big threat. But then again, as you said it, Stefan, anyone can have a really good game against us. But I'm hoping that because he's not a rookie or a backup or someone kind of just we never really knew about, that he's not just going to show out against us. We all know who Matt Ryan is, and hey, we dominated in round one, so I don't see why we can't just take care of business again and put the pressure on him again this upcoming weekend. So, I mean, that's really it for me. Do you have any other, additional remarks, Stefan?
Already know. I mean, we've played them already. We've kind of previewed them before. I'm hoping for more of the same.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah, we know. Hey, we did real well against them week two, and compared to how we've been playing since then, and I don't think they've been looking too hot. They've had a lot of bad losses,
Yeah.
so yeah, overall not too worried. But I want to know, are you worried about making the right Mr. Fantasy choice? Because I want to know, Stefan, who is your Mr. Fantasy this weekend?
I'm not worried, but I'm gonna go with Mike Evans, bounce back game for Big Mike because he was a little quiet last week, so I expect him to go off. The uh, the, the Falcons defense is all right, and with the injuries you pointed out, I just don't see them as much as a threat defensively to us. Except that that the big guy in the middle, Jared. But I expect Mike to bounce back, and he did well that week too. So I expect him to have a big game and get back on and get back on the board this weekend. How about yourself?
Great minds think alike, Stefan, because Mike Evans is also my Mr. Fantasy. And I say that because, yeah, what he performed real well last time we played him. He knows how to show out. It just happens here and there that, sometimes someone else, just shines because we have so many weapons. So, that being said, though, I think it's his turn. I think this week he's going to do real well. He's a big guy. He knows to take advantage of the small kind of DBs. And, I think he'll find a lot of opportunities. So that leads us to our kind of final point now, which is our game prediction. Steph and I think you and I kind of feel the same way, which is, we're feeling real good. We're feeling that, we can definitely win this game for sure. But I want to know, what's your score prediction?
I'm gonna go Musa with 35-17. It's a divisional game, so I won't completely pull a blowout out there. But I think Tampa Bay's defense has hit a stride now with Carlton Davis back and the boys looking, refreshed and looking good and kind of that swagger back of turnover, making the ball come our way and stuff. I'm gonna go with them only 17 points. I don't see our offense starting slow again. I think, they know this is a trend. We all know this is a trend, so it's time to fix it on the road against a divisional opponent. So I see 35 points for the Bucs. How about yourself?
I like it, Stefan. I'm in the 30s. I got 31 to 3. And I say that because listen, yeah, we got a lot of weapons on the offense. Now it just comes down to, how much are we going to execute? But I'll tell you this, our defense is looking real hot. I know what we need to do. Yes, we're going to have our little slips here and there, but overall, I think we'll be able to take care of business. Listen, the way I see it, the Falcons aren't, any threat to us. We've played some kind of bad teams. I'm not going to say they're completely bad, but I'm just going to say they're kind of bad. All right, like the Bears. All right, like the last time we played them, we're going to dominate them for sure. We're looking better than we were in week two. So for that reason, I don't see why our defense can't just completely just show out, ball out, and just shut them down to at least maybe 3 points. I think they might be able to get a field goal, but that's really about it, though. I really maybe another field goal, but I don't see them getting a touchdown. I really don't. We're looking real good. I think we're all fired up after that win like that, and I think we just want to just make sure that every win, especially a game like this against the Falcons, is something like, hey, listen, this is our show, and also this is a divisional game, so definitely want to make take care of that kind of business as well. So yeah, 31 to 3 is my final score. Would be really nice to just see any 30s. I guess we'll both be happy. Well, I guess that's about it, Stefan. What do you have any other additional comments, concerns?
Oh, not really. I mean, go Bucks to both of our points. I hope we get in the 30s. We should, I want to see that consistency of getting in the 30s on the road, Busov. That's kind of my and to your point, I think the defense will do, good. I just think that divisional games are always a little bit tougher. So they'll score, but we'll be in the 30s. So I'm right there with you.
All right, all right. Well, that being said, thanks again, listeners, for your time. And if you haven't already, please follow us at RBLR Sports on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. But also, if you can, like and subscribe to our podcast. We're on Spotify. Don't have Spotify? That's okay because we're on Apple, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and other major podcast platforms. All right. So, hey, listen, it's another week of some Tampa Bay football, and I hope you're ready. All right. Because it's another road game, but I'm very confident it's not going to be like the other road games. We took care of them real well during round one, aka week two. But I guess Atlanta said, let's see if you can do it again, Tampa Bay. And that's what our Bucs shall do. I really do think so. So this Sunday, we got a 1 p.m. game. That's right. So by the time you wake up, you have your little weekly mimosa brunch with your buddies, it's going to be time. All right. It's time for our Bucs to stamp another W on our schedule and another chance to show the league that we're the defending champs for a reason. Fire up the grill, I don't know, crack up the brews, and get ready for another grand show from our Bucs. Thanks again, listeners. See you next time. And as always, go Bucs.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.